Hi guys, welcome to another fossil video. Alrighty, I've got a double-sided multi-block to do today. It's going to take an awful long time because I don't know if you can actually see. Tiny one, bits of one, tiny bits. That's just that one side. So there's lots of interesting things going on in here, on there. So I'd like to expose as much as I can without destroying anything else. And then on this side, again, tiny one, bit of one, tiny one, bits and bobs underneath, which are possibly I can expose something. But look how tiny these are. Here's my side of my finger, just to show you how small they are. Very, very tiny. So I will probably put you on time lapse for this, just so that you can see the progress as we go. So we'll be back to chat with you shortly. So we're going to go slow again because I just want to be so careful in revealing. I've only just done this one small one here. There, let me get thing. There's a little tiny shell here and another arched. Not quite sure what that is. Might be a back end of a, like the keel of an ammonite. Don't know. Need to expose that a little bit more. Might be something. Might be nothing. Then I need to come down and work on this one down here. What I'm going to do is I will come back in a few seconds when I've done a few more clearance runs here. But a few seconds for you, probably an hour or so for me. Alright, I'll be back in a mo. Okay, so I've done another little bit. This is the first one I did, and then there's a little bit in there just messing about, and this is the second one that I've done. So yep, I'm still on the underneath part of the block. I've still got some more here to try and get out, but that so far has taken me an hour and 20 minutes just to do that little bit there. Hour and 20 minutes. Ooh boy. I'm actually going a lot slower on this one because the the ammonites are quite small, and I don't really want to mess up these little dudes. They need to be treated with TLC and gentle hands. Alrighty, I will be back when I've done a bit more. Well, we're back again. Alrighty, so this is the first one with a little bit, second one, and then I've just exposed these little ones here. Not a great deal under there, they're just like bits, because this is the seabed. There's lots of little tiny bits of shell, broken bits of ammonite, lots of little bits and bobs that just break away and don't stay. So I'm going to keep that as natural, as this is the backside of the rock that I'm prepping today. So I'll polish those ammonites up once I've finished the other side, but this is the progress up until now. We have been going for 2.5 hours now, so, and that's how much we've done. Okay, so I will be back with you in a few seconds. Okay, welcome back, folks. So I have done the second side as much as I want to do it. There's an awful lot of bits and pieces on here like there was on the other side. There's some really tiny little ammonites in there. There's a couple of really diddy tiny ones here, but a nice imprint. But I don't want to take it back any further because it's the bottom of the ocean floor at the end of the day, so it's just all it's doing with the prep that I've done is just exposed how it would look when those ammonites dropped onto the floor, or something like, anyway. So there's the other side. So the ammonites are sitting there quite nicely. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with just putting a little bit of polish on these, not polish, beeswax. So I'm going to set you up so you can have a look at that. Alrighty, so let's continue. Here's my little scrubby brush. And you don't want to be putting a lot on these fossils, you just want to highlight them so that they pop off of the matrix. So remember, very little on your brush, just scrub it in, very, very little. Don't overdo it, because I find that if you put too much on the matrix, then the beeswax actually will run. I know it sounds really bizarre, but it will actually run, and then you'll end up having the beeswax bleeding onto your matrix, and then it'll look rather daft. So I'm just going around each little fossil, just giving it a gentle coat, little tiny amount of beeswax just to highlight them, make them stand out a wee bit. And see how they now pop off the matrix there. Even do these little tiny pieces at the side that have just got their very little bit exposed. I didn't want to go taking them out of the matrix. So I am quite fond of how it looks. You know, broken ammonites and all. I know some people, they like to clear these out and make this matrix smooth as anything, and expose just maybe one or two perfect ones. But do you know, life is not perfect. We have imperfections in everything that we see daily. So I think it's only right to show these in their natural state of, you know, this stone has been broken up. This is how it was found. So let's just see them how they're supposed to be seen. So I'm gonna give the matrix, the ammonite imprint a little colour as well, just so that it really pops off that rock. And the little tiny baby one. Just makes them really stand out. I love the effect that these have. I really do. Now this one here is full of calcite, so I've never really, let's give it a gentle brush, but I don't think I'm going to put a generous coating on there. No, that's fine how it is. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this, you know. It's turned out really well. Another imprint there. So basically I'm just going to go around now and check all the imprints, all the ammonites that are just sitting on the sides. And colour them in, basically. That's what we're doing. We're giving them a bit of a colour, and I'll buff these up in a second as well, just to give them a little bit of a shine. But it's quite thirsty, this rock. Just alrighty. So then we go to the ones on the other side and do exactly the same thing, and that's just a little tiny bit of beeswax. Goes an awful long way. Tiny, oops, a bit too much on there. Tiny amount. If you put too much, it just drowns, and then your matrix starts to bleed. Your beeswax starts to bleed onto your matrix, and then it looks really naff. Looks horrible. So tiny amount. And I'm going to do the same here as I did on the other side. Just pick out the pieces of ammonite that I want to highlight, make them pop off the rock, just so that we can see them clearly. That'll probably be quite a nice one, but this matrix is extremely hard. That's why I haven't continued to try and get him out. So that's this one here. So I think we're done. Oops, there's one on the end there. So all I'm going to do now is get my softy shoe brush . Give it a little buff. And we're going to call that done. So what I will do is, as the light is not brilliant, I will take some photographs before. I've already done the befores, take some photographs of the after so that you can have a bit of a closer look. There we go. All finished. Really happy. That will go into my display stand quite nicely. Okay, hope you enjoyed. Join me again for more videos later on. Cheers and bye bye. Okie dokie. So there's the ammonites with a little bit of polish on them, just to bring them out a little bit. This one, as I say, it's not a whole one, it's just a piece, but there's lots of little bit of shells and what have you in there. And then on the other side we have just a nice polish, just to bring out the shells and bits and bobs that are in the dirt that was the seabed. But I quite like the way that it's smooth. Alrighty, so as I say, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.